Today we are making a video on Voyager Linux 23.04 Beta Edition. Here is the boot menu. In order to boot in a live mode, try or install Voyager, and these are few options. Click on try or install Voyager. It will take up to maximum of minute or a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. Let's wait for the desktop to load up. Here is our desktop loaded, not completely, but it's still loading. It took almost a minute and 20 seconds, but still it didn't load up. Here is our calendar or date. This is a new look of Voyager 23.04 Beta Edition. I am running it on a virtual machine with a 4 GB of hard disk and 40 GB of hard disk. 4 GB of RAM, and with two processors. We need to change the display resolution first. It's taking a lot of time, so we need to wait still. I think this is a new wallpaper, and we have a option of how to install or how to use the Voyager Linux. First you need to choose your language. I am choosing English. Here we have a lot of language, you can choose anything you want. Here are two options. In order to boot in a live mode, try Voyager, or in order to install the Voyager, choose install Voyager on your hard disk. It's always better to go with try Voyager or a live mode. This is a live mode and this is a installation mode. You need to always try first, because we don't know, we have bugs or something like that. If it goes good, you can after install this. And again, this is a beta version. It's better to stay out of it, because if you are a normal user, it's better to stay out of it. And if you are a guy who want to test it, you can test it on a virtual machine, VMware or VirtualBox. You can do anything you want. It's better you don't install it on your main PC or a work PC, because it's still in a development or a beta version. It's going to have a lot of bugs which can ruin your PC. After you get a stable release, it's better to always wait even after a stable release up to like 15 to 10 days, because there will be bugs sometimes, and they're going to be releasing point updates. It's better to wait for that. If they don't release a point updates, that means the ISO file or the Linux distro is good to go. You can install it. Instead of ruining your PC, it's always wait for the better Linux experience. I want to go it in a live mode, so let's go to choose to try Voyager. It's going to take up to 20 seconds of maximum to load up the desktop. Sometimes it may take up to a minute, depends on your PC sometimes, or depends on the Linux distro file. If it was not corrupted, it's going to go smoothly, or if it had bugs, we don't know that. I think we should be getting in a few seconds. This is the mouse pointer right here, working properly and smoothly. This is a good new look. Look wise, it's pretty clean, good and neat. The color combinations are beautiful, even by looking is pretty good. Let's change the display resolution first by going or clicking on a mouse pointer. It's a GNOME desktop environment, as you can see here. Let's change the display resolution. My display is 1920 into 1080. It should be here with a 16:9 ratio. Click on apply. It's going to change the display resolution. If you can't see the font or a text size, you can scale up to 200%, or you can go fractional scaling like 150. All these things will be available here. You can change the scaling with 1920 into 1080p, and 150% fractional scaling will be good to go. You can properly see it. So let's check the about the Linux distro first. Here is the about Linux distro. Linux distro name is Voyager Linux distro, and this is the CPU, and this is the hard disk capacity I'm running it on a Voyager VMware. OS name is Voyager 23.04 and it is a 64-bit. This is the kernel version and the Windows system is X11. Let's first go and check the system monitor before running anything, because we need to know how much resources are consumed before using any app. Let's check the first process running. These are all the processes running right now. Let's go to resources. Let me change the color so you can see properly. A CPU is running a maximum of 25% and the RAM is almost 2 GB. It's not for a low-end PC. As you can see here, memory is almost 2 GB just of launching the app. So in my opinion, it's not a good low-end PC Linux distro. It's a mid or a high-end PC Linux distro. Mine is i5 12th gen, so mine is mid-range PC, so it's almost a 2.1 GB. It's going like crazy, almost 50% is almost consumed, and cache is 2.8 GB already. It's not stopping, it's going a crazy. CPU also going crazy. File system, let's check the about system monitor. Gnome version is 44.0, which is latest version released few days ago. As you can see, CPU is a maximum of 100%, 40%, 50%. I'm running nothing, which is still in the we are still in the beginning of the video, and we already have 2.1 GB, and CPU is almost max graph. As you can see, look wise it's pretty good, but the CPU resources and the RAM resources are going crazy. Let me just open the terminal and put it in few commands. Terminal should be Xfce, I guess. Here is our terminal. Let's check the version of the terminal. It should be 44 Gnome 44 version 3.48.0. Let's try to change the color so you can look properly here. Preference, colors, global. Let me find the colors. Here is the color. Let's go with Gnome light. You can look properly now. Let's type in few commands like inxi-sv8. If inxi is pre-installed, we should get full info. Here we have a full info. A host is a Voyager Linux. A kernel is 6.2.0-18 and it's a 64-bit. And GDM3 version is 43.0. GTK version is 3.24.7. Gnome version is 44.0. It's Ubuntu flavor or Ubuntu based. The version is Ubuntu 23.04. Lunar Lobster, which is in a beta edition still. And FinoX version of BIOS is 6.0. And I have a RAM of 4 GB and used almost 2 GB, 50%. You can see here. And these are all my CPU and few info. Let's scroll it down. VMWGFX version is 2.20.0. Here is our some display resolutions available. Here are some info if you want. Let's type in few more commands in the terminal, which is inxi and inxi small b -b. And again one more command, inxi-G. Click and enter. These are all the few info. You can read it. OpenGL version is 4.1. Mesa is 23.0.1. And inxi version is 3.3.25. And processors running right now is 297. And uptime is 10 minutes. Let's type in htstop if it is available. Htstop is not available. Let's try to install a htstop. Let me copy that thing. I think let's type in command sudo apt install htstop, because it's not allowing me to copy that. Htstop is going to take 12 seconds maximum to install, and we should be having our htstop right now. Click in htstop. And the RAM is almost 1.24 GB of 3.82 GB. Our tasks are 122. I think that's it. Let's close this thing and let's open the Firefox browser, and let me show you how to download the Voyager Linux and their official website. Firefox should be taking like a maximum of 20 seconds to load up. We already have our Firefox, which just took like a 10 seconds maximum. Let's check the version. The version should be 311 because all Ubuntu flavors have the same version, and it's also based on Ubuntu 23.04 beta version. So let's type in Voyager Linux 23.04 beta edition. We should be having our Linux distro here. I think this is the link. I'm using a VPN, so it's taking a few seconds to load up. Here is our link. This is in a different language. Let's try to change it to English. We want an English version. Just glitching like crazy, as you can see. I don't know, it's because of my PC or maybe Linux distro, I don't know. I'm running a latest CPU. I have a latest CPU which is 12th gen i5. I don't know, it should be a PC problem or the distro problem, I don't know properly. Here is some info. If you want, you can read it. Here is our images of a different type of desktop environment. New icons are available, and this is the some info of the PC, QR code, wallpapers, Gnome version, apps. After clicking here, you should be having apps, and this is the activities folder, I guess. Yes, activities, or a workspace you can call it. Gnome 44 available, so the options also will be Gnome 44. The look is pretty good, but you can't go just with a look. The distro should be also using a few resources, but it's going crazy. Let's scroll down. These are all the important things. If you want, you can go through all these things, or you can just click on download if you want. The file size should be like a 4 GB or 5 GB, I don't know. Let's try to see how much is the file size. It's going to take a few seconds because it's a source forge. 5 seconds, and we should be having our download right now. Here is our file size of 4.5 GB. Let's close this thing. Let's try the installation process. I'm going to show you the formality of installation. I'm not going to install because it's a beta version. I'm just going to show how to install the Voyager Linux, just the process. It's taking a few seconds. Again, this will be the same style of installation in every Linux distro. First, you need to choose your language. Click on continue. Lot of languages available. Choose any language if you want, and keyboard layout is English US. Again, same process. You can choose anything you want. I'm going with English US. Click on continue, and we should be having like updates and other softwares. This is a normal installation. In a normal installation, you get everything: web browser, utilities, office software, games, and a media player. All these things here are available is a normal installation. And on the minimal installation, you just get a web browser and like few basic utilities like a calculator, notepad, like that. It's better to go with a normal installation. After downloading a 4.5 GB, it's better to go with a normal installation. It's a waste of going with a minimal installation after downloading a 5 GB of file size. It's not a worth it option, I guess. It's my opinion. It's up to you. You can go with minimal installations. And other options are this: download updates while installing Voyager, and install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats. It's always better to check this thing because it's going to save some time. It's going to completed in the installation process. Again, if you want, you can do it later. In my opinion, it's better to go with this right now. After installation, you should install the other things, and it may work or it may don't work. We don't know. It's better to check this thing and click on continue. It's going to take a few seconds because Ubuntu drivers are preparing for installation. Instead of waiting, let's go see some features of desktop. Here are the GNOME 44 desktop features. Some of the nice features: you can auto rotate it, night light, dark style, everything is good. Here is our language. You can choose any language you want. I think this is a store, I guess. This is a clipboard. You can search anything clipboard. It's in a private mode. If you uncheck it, you need to be having everything here. And here is a file manager, I guess. Here is our calendar, which we already saw. And these are all the apps which comes pre-installed. Let's go through. I think these are frequent apps, pinned apps. On the accessories, you have these apps, and the games, you have this many games. We have a Pac-Man game, and mines, chess, Sudoku. That's good. On the graphic side, we have almost important apps. Internet, we have few. Here we also have an important apps. On the office side, you have a LibreOffice, which is common in every Linux distro, or which is seen in every Linux distro. And the sound and audio, we have few apps here. And on the system tools, these are all the new things. And on the utilities, you have these things. Let's go back to the installation process. Here is the type of installation. If you want to erase everything and want to boot it in a single mode, go with erase disk and install Voyager, which is going to erase everything. So be careful what you're doing, and be careful what you are up to. Just don't just click on install. You need to understand what is going on here, because it's going to destroy or delete everything which in your hard disk or SSD. You need to have some idea of what you're doing here, and you need to in order to go to a dual boot, you can go with something else and choose your partition size, resize. You can do anything you want. If you want to boot it in a single mode, it's better go with a erase disk and install Voyager. If you are running it on a virtual machine, it's completely good. Voyager VMware, if you are running it in a VMware, no problem. It's going to delete everything in a VMware, so nothing harm happens if you are in a VMware. So be careful and try to understand what is going on here. And after that, you can install now. Click on install now. It's going to give you a username, password. You need to fill in all these things. You need to give your username, like not your real name or an original name. You can give anything you want, and you need to give some password for that. Use your strong password for a better security. Don't just type in like a 1 2 3 4 5 like that. Give some strong password, and after that, it's going to take a few minutes, like a maximum of 20 minutes or minimum of 5 to 10 minutes. It's all depends on the Linux distro and some system resources are on your PC. After that, it's going to say finish. Click on finish, and it's going to reboot. You may need to reboot, and you will be having Voyager Linux installed in your PC as a main operating system. And this is the process of installation. I'm not going to install because I don't want to install it on your virtual machine or an important main PC, because I want to run it in a live mode, and it's a beta version, so that's the reason I don't want to install it. And here is the system info going, like a CPU and RAM, as you can see. I think we covered everything, I guess. Let's try to open the software manager. Instead of running or launching every app, let's check the version here, right? The software version is 44.0. Let's check the installed version right here instead of opening all the apps, and it takes a lot of time. Let's check the important apps here. We don't need a calculator, we need a actual document viewer version. A version is 1.26.0. You don't need a cheese calendar. The common thing will be 44.0 because the GNOME version is 44.0, and these are all the GNOME desktop environment apps, so it's going to be version 44.0. That's a common sense to use. Let's check the GIMP version. It should be like a 2.10.34, something like that. Yes, exactly 2.10.34, because I made a previous video of Ubuntu Kylin, which is also a flavor of Ubuntu, and I already made a lot of videos of beta version of 23.0 of Ubuntu beta version. You can go to my channel and check that out if you want. I covered every Linux or Ubuntu flavored distros there. And let's check the image viewer version, which should be 44.0. Same. Let's check the LibreOffice version, 7.5.2, which is also latest version, and all LibreOffice related version will be same. Map should be 44.0 because it's a GNOME. Let's check the mousepad version, which should be 0.5.10 or 1.0. Parole. Let's check the Parole version, 4.18.0. Maybe Parole should be Xfce. Yes, its website is Xfce, so the latest version of Xfce is 4.18.0. The version is also 14.18.0. Pigeon version is 2.14.12. Let's check the Rhythm Box, 3.4.6. What we still left, Image Viewer, 0.12.4. Tweaks 44.0 or 42 beta version. I think that's it. That's all the important things you need to know. Let's lastly check the videos. 43.0. I think we covered everything, I guess. Let's check the system monitor after running all these apps. Let's see how much resources are consumed right now. It's 2.2 GB, almost 54%, and CPU is running normally right now. This is my network. You don't need to worry about the network. It should be different in every Linux distro because this is our internet connection. We need to only need to know about the CPU and RAM. This is not worth or not important. CPU is going normal. That's good. RAM is around 2.2 GB. Let's close this thing and let me show you. These are all the apps comes pre-installed. As you can see, let's open the Firefox browser and let me go to my channel. And this part is only for the people who want to watch my content without subscribing. If you are a guy who already subscribed, no need to worry, you can skip this part. This part is only for the people who want to watch my content without subscribing. You need to, if you want to watch my content daily without subscribing, just type in youtube.com//9to5linux, which will take directly to my channel. This is the URL. You need to type in your browser. If you have a YouTube app in your TV, mobile or a tab, just type in 9to5linux and you will be having my channel. Let's click on enter. I'm using a VPN. It's going to take a few seconds. Let's go back. I think I typed a wrong URL. Let's type in youtube.com/9to5linux. This is the URL, youtube.com/9to5linux or a /9to5linux. Or just type it in YouTube just 9to5linux in the YouTube app. This is my channel. I'm using a VPN, so it's taking a lot of time. This is my channel. If you are here for only Linux content, just go to playlist. You will find a Linux here, a Linux playlist. Go to view full playlist under Linux, and you should be having Linux videos. I made around like 1536 videos of various Linux distros or different types of Linux distros available here. You can play all or shuffle, or you can just type it in your search here. You can just type your favorite system or a favorite Linux distro here, for example MX Linux, and you should be having the latest version of MX Linux here, because I make a video as soon as they are available. The ISO file is available. I will make a video right that moment. If you want to subscribe, you can. If you don't want, it's up to you, no problem with me. This is the main thing you need to know, that I will post 2 videos daily without missing any day. I'm making videos almost like 3-4 years without missing any day. Almost from lot of years I'm making every day. These are the timings. If you are visiting, you need to visit at this time, or you can the videos will be available way before these timings, because I'll put it in a premiere. I think that's it. Let's close this thing and end this video. I think that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.